Hello, and welcome to the Man of Thought. Thank you. I am awaiting those who will be joining me for some moment. Let me give people the moment to join me because the moment I continue on the conversation that I have today, most people might not understand when I begin to dive deeper. I've been in my room to have network, but we have been having network challenges. There was certain hypothesis, or will I call it hypothesis, or will I call it rumors, that network was being downplayed or was being reduced, signals were being reduced so that Nigerians who are in the protest ground may not be able to send signals to people by videoing themselves live. We don't know if that is actually true, but in most areas, there are no strong network. In fact, when I was having conversation yesterday, there were no network. So today also, I had to go to a different location so I can have network. I had to stay, one of my properties close to a mass, and that's why I can stay there and have a little bit of network that I use in speaking to the people this morning. Now, this evening, I have a little things I'll be touching on. And part of the things I'll be touching on today are part of the power of the president. We still want to look into the aspect of the protest. So let us focus on, for us to understand the power of the president, we have to also talk about the Nigerians who party in Newcastle today. I will touch on Very Dark Man and some Omo Igbo, somebody who was being accused as Omo Igbo being threatened, women carrying children for protests, how we allow Nigerian teenagers to participate in protests. We would also touch on stopping other Nigerians to move, that's maybe anti-protest or something like that. Regina Daniels, I would touch on the subject of Regina Daniels. I will talk about Nigerian youths, those people who are actually looting things. And then I think first and second is I will have to touch on Dapo Abiodun, the governor of Ogun State, also what he said. Before I decide to come on live today to talk about this, I was able to make a little bit of findings about the Nigerian president. And this is actually important. When a lot of people are talking about say no to bad government and the rest of it, it is important that we know the kind of battle we are facing. If you don't understand the battles that you are facing, you most likely will be making a lot of mistakes. Whatever does not correlate with what I'm discussing, I might not be attending to it. I know India. I think Indians are very popular, but I'm talking about Nigerian protests right now. So please, you can subscribe. I can talk about national things on different nations some other time. So if you are part of my subscribers, I would appreciate you. So back to what I'm saying, Nigerians, we need to be aware. Striker, God is the best. Okay. Hello. I know some people want me to talk about other subjects. Sorry, Ahmed and Mohammed. I'm sorry I would not attend to that today, but I would have loved to talk about spiritual things, talk about anything. But basically, at this junction in our country called Nigeria, we are having situations, and I want to focus on that situation today because it's going to be helpful if we can educate our people and they can make certain right choices. So for those who are joining me, you can subscribe to my channel. There are days whereby we can have time to have all kinds of conversation. So back to what I am talking about for the Nigerians. I was touching on the protests of Nigeria. And a lot of people are coming up to say that we say no to bad government. I would attend to that striker videos. God is the best. I love all my audience. I like talking about my audience. I like responding to you guys. Oh, my number one fan is here. The Ember. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate the $5. You're making me rich every single day. Thank you very much. Striker videos, sometimes I would touch on your subject. Is Nigeria Africa? Mohammed Atab is asking, is Nigeria Africa? Yes, Nigeria is part of Africans. We are part of Africans. Please like and share and subscribe to my channel. Back to what I'm saying, I would only want to focus on this discussion today. We had to look at the issue of the president, why people make decisions to protest against the president. Some people are saying, let us push out the government, let us push out the president. And some people are saying that it's about the hunger and the rest of it. But you need to ask yourself, whenever you make a decision to go against someone, who is that person and what does that person actually represent? First of all, we need to understand the rights of the president, and then we understand our rights. As Sarido Kubo said yesterday, that where the rights of certain people end, that is where the rights of certain people begin. I know that when we look at it logically, he is actually talking about the privilege of certain individuals. That was what he meant by that conversation, by saying that the privilege of certain individuals are more than the privilege of others. But the way he put it makes it look like he doesn't know what he's saying. Makes it look as if he's trying to oppress the Nigerians. And yes, we would feel as if he's actually oppressing us by making that kind of statement at the time that we are in. So when I look into the power of the Nigerian president, one of the things I realize is that the president has the right to manage protests. He also has the right to implement curfew if he finds out that if it looks like the protest is going out of hand. The president has the right to implement curfew. And then you need to also understand that the president of Nigeria is the head of state and head of army, that is the military. He is their head. Not quite long, Nigeria had democracy, and that means we remove from the military regime and we get into the democracy. We start talking about democracy and we become more civil. But we need to be realistic of the kind of power that a president have. Now, I think that most Nigerian youths, we are only screaming on bad government and end the hunger, but we have not been able to educate ourselves on what is the kind of power that the president actually have. And so I have told you some of it. Managing of protests, implementing curfew, if necessary, is the head of state and head of army. First, they call it chief of staff or something like that. So he can always use excessive force whenever he thinks it is needed, as long as it follows the legal framework. Because he also is responsible to the UN. Because the world watch what the president does, he would actually do whatever is necessary along the legal framework. And that brings me to the next subject, close to what I want to talk about on this, which is that Nigerian forces, both military and the police, are one of the best forces in Africa when it comes to land, fighting on land. Please, you can make a lot of research on this, how Nigerian forces have been used for war and what kind of success Nigerian forces have when they are fighting war on ground. I think there's no denial that Nigerian military force are very good on fighting on ground. My network is kind of terrible. And the reason why I brought this up is simply because someone was saying something today when I was on live show this morning, and the person was saying that Nigerian youth need to rise up just like how the Kenyans did. Because the Kenyans protested, and when they protested, they are able to get what they want. Now, do you think such thing can be implemented in Nigeria? Yes, of course. If Nigerians make decisions to make things chaotic, we don't know the outcome. But we can rally ourselves around to say that we want a change by force. But I want us to also understand that Nigeria have the best forces. And when people are saying no to bad government and you want to remove a bad government, I want to ask you, what do you have as a plan? What do you think you have to fight the government? Now, a lot of us are not educated enough to even tackle the issues of the government. A lot of us do not understand the rights that we have, but we want to remove a government. And that also then lead me to the words that for Abiodun, the governor of Ogun State, what he said today when he was on Shehu, is it Shehu Otedola's Otedola or something, when what did they call his name? Dapo Abiodun was saying a statement. He made a statement, and I quote, I would just be paraphrasing actually. Dapo Abiodun said that the president of Nigeria won the election. Now, Shehu was trying to tell Dapo Abiodun that the president did not have a lot of votes. But Dapo Abiodun was saying that the president actually won. And that's the reason why he's the president of Nigeria currently. Now, he also made a statement and he says Nigerians are sole losers. And when he made the statement, he furthered by explaining himself. And one of the things that he was able to say was that if we have decided to elect a president, the right thing we're supposed to do as a citizens, if we don't want that particular person, is that we wait for the next 4 years, and after 4 years, we are going to remove that person from the position of power. That is our right to do that when it is time for election. That was the words that were coming out from Dapo Abiodun. And there are certain reasons. I kind of look at it. I said we can make a decision to be irrational, and we can make a decision to be emotional about what Dapo Abiodun said when he made a statement that Nigerians are sole losers. We are not supposed to protest. We are not supposed to do certain things. Yes, it is easy for us to attack the statement, but we need to ask ourselves certain questions that are very important. And part of the questions are this. If we make a decision, do we know the power behind the president? And if we make a decision to remove a president from seat as Nigerians, the question is this. It does not only send a threat to the president, but it sends a threat to the governors. It sets a threat to the senators. It sent a threat to the judicial system. It sets a threat not just to the economy. It sets a threat to everyone who is in power. If you make a decision to say end bad government and Tinubu should be out of power, you are not just threatening the president, you are threatening all the governors, you are threatening the head of the military, the head of the chief of army of staff, you are threatening everything that makes the country. And then we are asking ourselves the question that why are the armies protecting the government and not protecting the people? It is simply because the president is their head. and they have to listen to that individual. But let me ask us a question. Let us decide, let us assume that we can remove the president from the position of power. What message do we think we are actually passing to the next people that are coming into power? That means anyone can be removed as long as the people don't want them. So if anyone can be removed, when have there been presidents in any country that the people always praise during the time when he's a leader or when he's in the position of power? Trust me, I'm not supporting Bola Ahmed Tinubu. In fact, I dislike him as a person. I do not like the president. But I am asking, if we can start removing presidents who will decide to be our leader, despite the constitution, despite everything we have set in place that makes Nigeria what it is. If we can remove the president, that means we can remove the governors. That means we can remove the senators. That means we can remove the judges. Are these people corrupt? Yes, of course. And I think corruption is in every institution that is set in Nigeria. Even to the social media space, even to the activists, even to the journalists. In every media, TV, radio, schools, churches, mosque, name them. In every institution in Nigeria, there is corruption in it. So we have a leader currently that a lot of us perceive that is corrupt. And the question is this: what do we do about it? A lot of us are thinking to remove him from the position of power. Yoruba will say, "Ori bibe o kin se ogun ori fifo." To explain the meaning of that, that means when you are having headache, you don't cut off your head. You have to find a medicine for it. So, in a nutshell, it is wrong for us to make decisions to say we want to remove the president from the position of power. And if we even decide we want to make this decision, let us be very aware of the kind of military force that we are going to be fighting as a people. Question one: who gets weapons for Nigeria? Unlike the Western culture, most people have the right to legalize and have certain weapons with them. Even with that, there's a lot of control. Africans, Nigeria specifically, we don't have power to do anything. We don't have power to own any weapon. And then we want to go against the head of the military force. What do we think will be the result if we make a decisions like this? We can look at Kenya. Yes, did Kenya fight protest? Does the protest go into chaos? They have a lot of things they would say. But let me say this: such thing is bound to repeat itself again. In Kenya, that means whatever governor or whatever president that Kenya have, if they can remove one, they will most likely remove another one. Because first thing you need to understand, according to the song of what did they call it, Ebenezer Obey, what that song actually entails is that there is nothing you can do as a leader to please humans. We would always have reasons to complain. Is there a nation that does not complain? And trust me, a lot of Nigerians who are watching this would just be so angry that, oh, why is this guy talking like he's supporting the president? They will say mostly maybe this guy has even been bribed. So, assume I'm bribed. Do you think I would be in a very big studio by now? I'm telling us the reality. If we make a decision to go against Nigeria president, we have the best force. one of the best force that fight on ground. That is what we are going against. And the question is this: how many people are actually willing to lose their life? So to me, let's take that out of the subject and then let's move to the next one that is kind of important. Very Dark Man was on the protest ground. He actually surprised me. I wasn't expecting to see Very Dark Man on the protest ground, but he was there. And part of the things that I saw Very Dark Man did was that there was a time cars were coming and Very Dark Man was telling the protesters to leave the road, let the people pass. Let the person who is driving pass. And I'm like, that's good. But that also shows us exactly what the protest is like. That means if Very Dark Man had not told those youths to remove from the road so that the person who is driving should pass, then that means that you are protesting and you are infringing on the rights of other people. There's nothing wrong for us to protest, but there's something wrong when we begin to protest and we begin to vandalize people's property. In Kano, in Borno right now, we have seen a lot of people going into people's shop, breaking and demolishing those people's shop, taking items like a yogurt, taking biscuits, spoiling people's property. And I want to ask the Nigerian youth a question. Are those people the governors? Are those people the president? Are those people the ones who increase the fuel prices? Why are we vandalizing people's property? Because we are fighting the president. Oh, thank you very much. Someone just joined me. Chiem Zazobi. Thank you. I appreciate. Thank you very much. Now I have another person who supports me. Glory be to God. We are growing little by little. So the question is this. Is there something I can do about this? Okay. Okay. The question is this. Why are we destroying the properties of other people simply because we want to protest? Thank you very much, Mr. Chiem Zazobi. We are doing things the wrong way as Nigerian youths. Then I have something I want to talk about because Very Dark Man also learned the hard way today. And how did he learn the hard way? While he was protesting, he said, is it Chike or something like that? They released tear gas and he was in the car and he saw tear gas himself, how it penetrated his eyes. And then the moment, I think not quite long, they drove off from the scene. When you are not prepared to die, don't go into a fight that you are not planned for. They say someone is bringing a knife to a gunfight. I am not trying to blame the Nigerian youth, but our action itself is blaming us. We are taking the wrong approach for the things that we actually need. If we have to be successful, this is not the best way that we are going through to achieve what we want. Now that takes me again. I think Very Dark Man has learned in the hard way that in real life, let's not take, whenever we want to protest, let's never see protest like war. Because if we keep seeing protest like war, the reality is that when war begins, this country will be gone. We are not prepared for it. People are not prepared to die. And people shouldn't be prepared to die we should be able to be logical as Nigerians. They call us giant of Africa, not giant of baboons. Giant of Africa, we need to be one of the example to every other African countries by putting things in different approach, by approaching things differently, sorry. And I've said it earlier today, most of the celebrities slash activists slash journalists who have been telling people to go protest, please, where are they on the protest ground? Very Dark Man had to convince us. Where are all of them? Seun Kuti and the rest, where are they on the protest ground? Isaac Fesayo, or what did they call his name, who went yesterday to the protest, said there shouldn't be protest again. This shows that we don't have one mind as people. We are not even ready. It looks as if the protest is for certain classes of people. And the class of people who are actually protesting are the people that are beneath, who are not, when I use the word beneath, please don't get me wrong. The people who are the low class, who are really going hungry, who are not educated, and then they are taking the wrong approach simply because a lot of us who have the opportunity to educate them, we have failed our own responsibility, and so they begin to cause anarchy and chaos within the country. Somebody says, okay, that's Chiem Zobi. He said, a lot of people really want to build this country the right way, but I think hunger and frustration is speaking more than reasoning. It's just sad, man. It's true. I totally agree with you. One of the things I've been saying, Mr. Chiem, was that Nigerian youth need to think outside the box. And one of the way I think they can think outside the box is for them to make decisions to start going into farming. A lot of them, they kind of have certain excuses. And some of the excuses are, there's, what do they call it? Insurgency. And I'm not denying the fact that there's insurgency. There are places in Nigeria that are not safe. But when we look at it, there are also places in Nigerians that are safe. A lot of people gather themselves in Lagos. They haven't gone to any other states. They gather themselves in Lagos. Some people, the phone they have is enough to get 2 plots of land. The phone they use is enough to get 1 acre of land. I am a Nigerian youth. I used to live in Lagos, but when I started realizing that I know that money cannot do anything in Lagos. So for me to prepare my future, I have to go to the nearest state, which is Ogun State. I have to go into plantations. How many Nigerians are taking this responsibility? Before the protest began, I have to take certain plantains and distribute it to people within my estate. They can even afford. And I took some for my families too. When it comes to apple, apple is abundance. If it is coconut, if it is bitter leaf, it is certain things, we can produce the things that we want to consume as Nigerian youth. But we are kind of neglecting everything and focusing on just Lagos. If we think outside the box, there's a possibility that we can make a positive impact. Am I saying we shouldn't hold the government responsible? I think we should hold the government responsible. I am saying our approach towards the government does not look logical. If you see the news, what is going on, you will be so amazed. Why is it that whenever Nigerian youth decide to protest, we are going to vandalize other people's property? What is the logic behind it? Yes, we say hunger is in the land. Yes, we say there's insurgency. Yes, we say they are taking out farmers. Yes, we say the fuel prices are high. But these things are not so much applicable. When I'm talking of the insurgency itself specifically, it is not in every state. We have 36 states, maybe 4 or 5 or 6 states are facing insurgency. States like Oyo State, Ibadan, and Ogun State, and Delta, and some of the places in Delta, and some of the places in Owerri and the rest of it, most of these people are not facing insurgency like the Borno people. So majority of the Nigerian youth can start investing and buying those plots. Some of us, whenever we think about land, to buy land in Nigeria, we are thinking about buying a house. What happened in investing? What happened in farming? At least we should be able to produce what we want to eat as people. And that is where we are getting things wrong. There was a woman in the land of protest when they were protesting today. A woman showed up on Instagram and she said something. She was like, I went for protest, and she's even a Yoruba woman, but she looks like an Igbo woman. And she went to protest, and the people were telling her to leave the protest ground, that they are going to beat her up. So at this junction, we are still being tribal. During time of protests, where they are pouring tear gas, people are still telling a woman that she is not a Yoruba or she's not an Hausa, she should leave the protest ground. What if she is an Igbo? Should they have the right to tell her to leave? Is she not a Nigerian? This speaks about how we think as a people. And if we are not thinking correctly, we would not have the result we want. And that leads me to something else. This is how you know how we are thinking as Nigerians, that I think that our thought process is not going to help us or make things change. And when I'm talking about Nigerians, specifically, I'm focusing on those who are on ground like me. Some people went to protest yesterday and they went with their little children, with their babies. You want to protest and you are going to protest ground with your baby. You don't even consider the noise in protest ground. This is a mother. She's not even considering the noise that people are going to be making in the year of her baby. A child that is not up to 2 years old. Apart from the noise, they poured tear gas. When the police felt like, whatever excuse, you know, Nigerian police, I don't trust them. Nobody can trust them. They fight for themselves. The military, you know what fella would call them if he was alive. So they poured tear gas. And the tear gas affected the child. It affected everybody. So everybody were blowing breeze on the child, and they were saying, this is what the police did to a little baby. The question is, why would the mother carry a little baby like that to the protest ground? If we don't think correctly, we can never make change. When we talk of education, it's not basically you going to school. It comes from you gathering information and knowledge and building a skill with it that can be useful for you. I didn't learn agriculture, but I'm into agriculture. I learned barbing. I was a computer operator. I learned web design. I learned coding. I learned computer engineering. I learned Cisco networking. I learned all these things. But at some point in my life, I needed to learn how to barb. And I had to leave all those certificates somewhere. And out of that, I learned how to do agriculture. I'm not saying that I am the best because I came from nothing. No, I'm saying that it is possible for all Nigerian youth to make decisions, to at least act in a logical way. To at least, whatever we are able to gather, we can do what is right with it. And here is what I have also been touching on. A lot of us, if today the president reduced the fuel prices, a lot of us will just go back to our normal life. And the question is this: why can't we take that opportunity to go into the political parties? Why are Nigerian youth not participating in politics? We need to learn about the weapon that the governments are using against us. Most of the people that are going into political parties in Nigeria are who? They are the thugs of Nigeria. Those agbero you see on the road, those are the people participating in political parties. An average educated Nigerian youth who has his OND, who has his HND, does not participate in politics. Majority of them just want to work in the bank. Most of them want to work with techno. And I also asked a question also. I said, when have we, the Nigerian youth, organized seminars and invite the governors in each state? We haven't done that. But there is always seminars when it comes to the issue of there's a brand new phone that is coming out. Nigerian youth, yes, we can gather and do a seminar. Hey, buy this particular phone. The camera is 64 MP. The back camera, the hard drive is very high. That's what we host seminar for in Nigeria. We don't host seminar to know the mind of governors, to hold the mind of the people who might possibly want to be the next governors or senators. We are not bringing them into seminars to know the mind of these people so we know how to go with them. But at least if we were holding that same seminars, the governors will be able to reach out to see his people. Some governors, once they get into power, they cannot see the poor people. And when they don't see the poor people, we don't exist in their world. So the Nigerian youth could make decision to start making things like this happen, to start having discussions with our political leaders. If we make a decision, even let's just look at it, a king in a village. Do you know how difficult it is to remove a king from a village in Nigeria? It is more like very impossible. Let's just say there's a possibility, but it is difficult to remove a king from the throne, more or less a president that has all the military backup. We would only waste our life because we don't even have the weapons to even defend ourselves. I wouldn't come here to just talk to people about history just so that I can push out moral and say that, oh, our governors are bad, our presidents are bad. We need to see them for what they are, and we need to reflect on who we are as people. And if we can reflect on both sides, we would know we will have a middle ground where we are going to make decisions to make a change for this country. Then, when you look at Nigerian youth, this is how we know we are not organized. A lot of people who went for the protest, like in Borno, like in Yobe, in all these particular places, you are going to see little teenagers participating in the protest. What is the sense in it? We are not even saying that the people who will participate in the protest should be from the age of 18 to the age of 35 or 40s. Children that are just 12 years old, 14 years old, 15 years old are participating in protests, vandalizing things in the country, breaking people's shop and packing bag of rice, packing oil and the rest of it. Now the question is this: what message are we, the youth, showing to the teenagers? We are telling them that peradventure these people, these old cowards that are our political leaders, when they go tomorrow, when God decides to call them tomorrow and they leave that position and we are there, then we are telling our teenagers to see how we rally. Whenever they don't get pleased by the situation, let them not just protest, but cause chaos, because we are already indoctrinating them on how to act. We are not teaching them to be civil. We are teaching them to be chaotic. And right in their presence, they are seeing where the police begin to shoot people, where the police are killing people. Now let us reverse that. Perhaps these teenagers become police tomorrow. Perhaps these teenagers grow up and become police tomorrow in Nigeria, and they have experienced where police probably killed their brother while they were on protest ground, while they were vandalizing things. Now, if he become a police tomorrow and there's a situation of him becoming to defend the government or something like that, what is he going to do with the people who are protesting? He would think that shooting, this is his own time to shoot as many people as he wants to shoot, because they did it when he was young. Then for those same young children who are protesting today, who they did not even protest, I didn't even see that as protest, that they were destroying properties, government properties, teenagers that are doing it. Let us assume that as the country is going, what message are we passing across to them? If they don't become the police force, they would most likely think that destroying people's property, stealing from people is the right way to continue. What is the future of Nigeria? Because we have to look at this from all sides. This is not mostly about the government and the people. We have a generation that has been messed up before. We have another generation that is being messed up. We have a generation right now, the older people, who are messing things up for us. But we, the Nigerian youth, who are privileged to be in the technology age, that we know what we can do with the social media to inform ourselves, to get educated, we are not taking that into our hands. What we are doing is we are showing the teenagers how to be more chaotic. Then, let me look at the next one. Then Regina Daniels. Regina Daniels came today and she started talking to Nigerian youths. Do not protest. At least everybody knows who Regina Daniel is. The young girl that got married to the old man, to an ancestors. The young girl that got married to her grandfather because she wants money. And everybody says that's logical. I have no issues with Regina Daniels loving whoever she loves. Maybe for any reasons, money or whatever. But I want you to know that our decision matters in her life and people are going to learn lessons from it. Yes, she has become a big girl. She already has child for the man. Yes, I'm happy for their union. But when Regina Daniels started talking about Nigerian youth not protesting, this is what I saw. I saw that this particular lady will be going into political things very soon. So she's demonstrating, she's practicing how to talk. She's practicing how to manipulate the Nigerian youth again. But these particular things shouldn't be that because her husband is a senator, she would finally, I'm just hypothetically speaking, she will most likely go into political space tomorrow. What are we Nigerians youth doing just so that we should be in that system before all these people come in? And trust me, if Regina Daniels goes into politics, what person's bidding will she learn from? Who is she going to emulate? The same senators, the same governors. But if we want the change, we need to participate fully. Nigerian youth have a lot of responsibility. Anything we are making decisions, let me say this. Taking a knife to a gunfight, you most likely would not win it. This is not the battle between David and Goliath. This is you using your life to play 10-10, using your life to make jokes. That's how it seems. And then when you look at the last one, maybe I would use that as the last one. Certain people says anti-protest. They want to be anti-protest. And I don't understand. How can you have protesters who are objecting and somebody says they are anti-protest? They are against protesters. The only reason why you should be against a protester is if the protesters are infringing on your rights. And that is the major problem. Whenever Nigerians make decisions to protest, they infringe on the rights of other people. They block the road so that other people will not pass through. So they mean that whenever they are protesting, everybody must protest with them. Just because of the protest, a lot of business are not moving. Just because of the protest, nothing is being done right now. And when you ask them what they want, certain people will tell you that they want the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to come and start saying things. What can he say that will be true? What can he say that will actually come true? If we don't make decisions to be responsible, there is never going to be answer to our problem. Seriousness is what Nigerian youth need, to just take our life serious. The moment things get better a little bit, you will find us going back to the celebrities. You will find us going to Jesus syndrome people, the pastors. Jesus Christ syndrome. We will go back to those people. They will manipulate you. They will ask you for your tithe and offering every single time. And at the end of the day, when you are hungry, they gave people 2 plates of gari. All the tithes you have been paying for years, when you are protesting right now, the churches are giving people 1 pint of gari. In fact, the only church we know that is giving people gari is RCCG. According to the video we saw online by an Instagram person. You collect the gari and then you come online and you start telling Nigerians that you went to church, your pastors gave you gari. And the question is this: why you cannot take something from someone and then you complain that what the person gives you is not enough? You should have refused it. This is just like the president trying to give certain people 1,500 not to protest. And now we hear the situation of them giving certain people 5,000 not to protest. And this is the same tactics they use when it comes to the time of election. You can see a good Nigerians, Shiro Nwangi. He says that he is a fool. That is a Nigerian for you. Shiro Nwangi must be an Igbo. Or if you are not an Igbo, what will you be? Nwangi. Be a man, be a man, you gay. Okay. Sorry for you. You would have had the opportunity to get a YouTube channel and get certain subscribers, make some money, and if you are logical enough, articulated and educated, you can inform Nigerians on what they are supposed to do. But the best you can do is what you are doing. You insult, you abuse. That's the best you can offer. Is that not interesting? Whenever you say things that Nigerians cannot comprehend, someone says, okay, AK says Nigeria is no longer a country. Well, they still call it Nigeria. In fact, when you wrote on this thing, you said Nigeria is no longer a country. So Nigeria is actually a country. We can't say it's not a country because we still have the president, we still have the tyrannical people leading us. How can we help ourselves to get out of this situation? Do we think that the protest is going to bring the solution to the problem? In my opinion, in my viewpoint, I do not think that this protest is going to make the change. We have been doing this protest over and over again, and it has been becoming chaotic, and people are losing their lives. It is very okay for some of us to stay on live, to stay on our phone and start chatting and start calling people idiots for not protesting. And I ask you a question. If you are on the protest ground, will you have the opportunity to insult? By now, tear gas should be in your eyes, or you'll be running for your dear life. You are not doing it. You are raising people to go and protest, but you are not participating. Oh, somebody have spoiled me with $20 just being on live. $5, $20, and one of my new supporter, Chiem Zezobi, almost $5. Thank you very much, D. I appreciate. At least I would use that $20 to flush out the abuse that come from Shiro Nwangi. Before I spend $5 with the one that this man gave to me, Chiem Zezobi, with the one he gave to me, I would have forgotten whatever Chiro Nwangi says. Let us tell ourselves the truth as Nigerians. That's the most important thing. We can't keep continuing this. Yes, so okay, AK says, D, you are generous. She is amazingly generous. You don't know? Well, I don't have anything to say about you, because at the end of the day, you are filled with negativity. And that is what Nigerians do. When we tell Nigerians that we are, most times when Nigerians will say we are intelligent, some of us are actually intelligent, but some of us, we brag on stupidity. And part of our stupidity is we think we are intelligent, but we take that intelligence to defraud other people. We take that intelligence to hack people's system, hack this, hack that, scam, go to churches, the pastor defraud you, you defraud other people. Despite the religion we have all over Nigeria, how many people have churches like Nigerians? Yet we have the most bad characters. We cannot be logical for anything. We are not educated for anything. In fact, we are emotionally not make the opportunity to swipe and change to something that I like. When I'm talking about things that affect our nation and we as people, you see me as the enemy. Why you are not on protest ground? And you say, I'm begging. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, please stop insulting this guy. He has done nothing wrong. Okay, thank you. Okay, Ike. He said we made a mistake by voting Buhari. You are right. Absolutely. The problem we have been having in this country is that we are not making the right decisions to make the right leaders or to choose the right leaders. And looking from the side of maybe Goodluck Jonathan is one of the best we had, and they have to, the government, certain people in the government has to destroy the regime of Jonathan. The most reasons why a lot of people advocate and choose or voted for Buhari was simply because we wanted him to fight against those who are already looting monies in Nigeria. That is our mistake. We vote him based on vengeance. We don't vote him based of character, based of what he has been able to achieve in the past. We are voting him basically because we want him to revenge on the politicians. And it is when people go to prison, Nigerian prison, that is when you would understand that politicians don't really suffer, even if you put them in prison. And Nigerians, they are so good in knowing how to keep money in dollars, knowing how to keep money in pounds, stealing money from one country to another. So you can't really get them. They want Abacha himself. When we are hearing many things about Abacha, they will put money inside soccer away and keep it there. When what's the name of Abacha's wife? When she was speaking the other time when they interviewed her, she said no matter what Nigerian government tried to take from her, she can never be as wretched as Dangote. So we choose Buhari based off revenge. We should choose people based off what they've done in the past. Now we come to the aspect of people becoming tribal. It is always either Igbo or Yoruba. It's either the Hausas or the Yoruba. Either the Hausas or the Yoruba. We have not been able to reconcile with the Igbos. And these are the three tribes that makes Nigeria. Okay, thank you for reminding me. That's Miriam Abacha. We have not been able to resolve every issue with the Igbos, to find a common ground. Rather, people see the Igbos as the enemy. And I even love some of the things the Igbos are doing right now. They've been through a lot that they decided that at this particular junction, they don't want to participate in the protests. Yes, okay, AK said Buhari was the worst decision Nigeria have made. Thank you very much. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe to my channel. So we meet next time. Thank you very much. So one of the worst decisions we have made, some people would say it's Buhari. But I'm more concerned about the Nigerian youth. And I think when we start telling ourselves the truth and start understanding that a lot of institutions, we need to question many institutions in Nigeria. One of them is our religious leaders. Sorry, I just like using the word Jesus Christ syndrome in Nigeria. We need to start focusing on our religious leaders, telling them the truth, knowing the truth and setting ourselves free. They kept boboing us with the Bible. Our politicians and our religious leaders are one. They are more united than Nigeria as a whole, even than most tribes combined. Nigeria politicians and Nigeria religious leaders, so we need to start asking ourselves questions. What are the institutions that have been set for us that is keeping us in this particular position? One of it is the religious leaders. One of it is our education system. One of it is we being tribal about things when we should have been. Look at these things since 1960 till now. We still keep fighting. Tribes still keep fighting for more than 60 years. How can we move forward when what we decide that will make us morally correct, which is the religious leaders, they keep extorting us, they keep lying, they keep breaking families? Do you know how many churches has actually break families? Do you know how many pastors are being arrested for child, married and unmarried people? Pastors has destroyed a lot of family. DK Ovuluku said we couldn't even put tribalism aside for the sake of our country. Tell them, oh, please tell them. My own net, yes, it is my network that is bad. I'm staying somewhere in Ogun State, so the network is kind of bad here, terrible here. Sometimes when I want to make videos, I have to go outside to go make it in somewhere else. If Nigeria have to move forward, we need to understand the weapons that the government are using against us. Part of the weapons they are using against us is tribalism. When we want to make a leader that they are telling us that we have to follow Emilokon because it is his turn, because he is the Yoruba, and when we look at his reputation for what he stood for, an average Nigerian with common sense knows, based off history, based off his past, based off different courts and these things they've said about the man. We know these things, but we decide because it is our tribe, let us choose him. So who should be held responsible? Is it not we? Why do we keep looking for the faults in the leader? Why are we not looking at our own responsibility? Nigeria is not too difficult to fix. Nigeria is not that bad that it cannot be fixed. An average person who has money in Nigeria would enjoy their life. An average, if a Nigerian has 70 million in his account, you don't have problem in Nigeria. Just get your house, get some business you're doing. If you can know how to make money in Nigeria, you don't have issues in this country. Do you want to go to Dubai, where you cannot, if you even look at their women there, they will deport you? You cannot walk anywhere, they will arrest you. Nigerians, just have your ID card and show them that you are coming from the right place. Nigeria is kind of peaceful. The only thing that we need to do is to understand that the government are using certain systems to keep us poor just for certain reasons that we cannot even comprehend, because colonization is still in our head, maybe in the government's head. Maybe they bow to certain people. But to fix this country is not that difficult. Eshe Oraka says, let me preach. You must be able to listen to the pastors. But honestly, I said something earlier today that most of the people, most of the Nigerians who have left the country and have walked outside the country in diasporas and have been able to achieve something, whenever they come back to the country, they are only interested in three things. They are interested in good road, they are interested in electricity, and they are interested in security. That's not too much to ask for. Thank you very much. From Malawi, Yasin Rashid said, "You're genius." He said, "I am genius." Thank you very much. I want people like you in my country, Malawi. One of these days, by God's grace, we will visit Malawi. Hopefully, before I come, you have subscribed. I'll be able to contact you so you show me certain areas. But we need to tell ourselves the truth if we want a better future for ourselves. Our future are two ways as Nigerian youth. Our future is we going into the position of power and making sure things are right for us. And our future also is for the teenagers and the young generations that are coming behind us. We are showing them the things they are not supposed to see. Bringing teenagers to protest is not a way that we are supposed to conduct ourselves. In fact, these people shouldn't even be using phone to see the kind of things that we are going through. Let them be at home. Let them be reading their book. Why the youth go out to protest? But rather, we let them come out and start breaking, vandalizing other people's property. For what? Just go on Instagram and see whatever I'm saying if I'm lying. Go to Bono, go to Yobe. Just check what is going on Instagram. That's my point for today. We have to look at the mirror and reflect and tell ourselves the truth. I'm not saying we wouldn't hold the government responsible. I am saying that we have not been able to hold the government responsible because we have not done our due diligence. It's true. Our Augustine says, how do we then sensitize the younger ones to change the narrative? That's going to take a lot. If an average teenagers of Nigeria can start destroying shops, can start destroying people's property, vandalizing people's property, and stealing, taking people's property and running with it on protest ground, when you are fighting for freedom, you are stealing on that particular day, and the Nigerian youth are supporting you that you can do such a thing, we have a big work to do. But I think that for you to be able to make a change, you have to take good care of yourself. And to take good care of yourself, you have to educate yourself. You have to inform yourself. Don't just let anybody come online and start telling you things and start reading one history for you that you have not read before. Don't let any pastor just open the Bible and tell you things. You should do those things yourself. Read the book. If Seun Kuti tells us that Nigerian in 1967, we are this and that, go and buy the book and study the book yourself. If pastors tells you that you need to read the Bible, read this particular chapter, take the whole book and read it first. Oh, Valerie Quintero, I always remember you. You are one of the people in my head. Thanks for joining me. I'm about rounding up. But I think that if we begin to take the responsibility, there's an importance of education that Nigerian youth are neglecting. I know the government should be held responsible because there's no adequate education. There's no adequate provision. But I am saying for those of us who have the ability, who have been able to be educated one way or the other, we need to, if possible, we should be more on the social media space. The next thing you are going to see most Nigerian youths do is to dance gwangwangwangwo. Every single time we celebrate, we go to parties, we go to basket mouth, we go for comedy things, everything is on social media. But it is rare for us to educate and inform ourselves as Nigerians. Our social media space is not telling us that we are doing the right things. We are only entertaining ourselves. Our culture and tradition is entertaining enough. Let us bring the social media space for a place for us to start educating and holding each other accountable so we can become a better Nigerians. Even the social media space, if we can handle it in a good manner, we would inform and educate a lot of Nigerians. The perception at which other countries have about us can change by what we are putting out on social media. So if we educate ourselves, let us find a way to join the political parties. The Nigerian youth, that's what I'm talking about. So we need to go into the political parties. If you know you have a good intention, go into political parties, because most of the people in political parties are just thugs. Most of them are not educated. It is rare for you to see Nigerian politician who has an OND. Let me not talk of HND. BSc, you will never see anyone. One politicians in Nigeria can never ever have BSc and PhD. Maybe we will have in the future, but we don't have any right now. I'm not talking of somebody who go and buy certificate, because we used to buy certificates in this country. I'm saying those who actually are being informed and being educated. That's the reason for you to know how corrupt our country is. That's the reason why on the day of election, one person will come out and be saying that if you are an Igbo, you should not vote. You must vote Bola Ahmed Tinubu. If you do not vote Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I will deal with you. You have to get out of the voting ground. Tribalism. Why? He is not educated plus civilization. He has none. Jiba Meshach says, brother, God will protect you as you're talking to us, the youth. Amen. And I pray also that we, the youth, will be able to listen from everybody who has a good intention and the right information to free the Nigerian youth. Amen to that. Ola Web 3. You too, you are boss. Thank you very much. So please, this is already night, Nigerians. I get family inside. I need to go see them. And yeah, more blessings. Thank you very much, Olab Web 3. Thank you very much. For those of us who have not subscribed, please do subscribe to my channel. Almost every day I upload things. I talk about things. And so it is an opportunity for us to be able to relate. Anybody who has certain points that they want to discuss about, you are free to come on my show any single time. Everybody is welcome. If you disagree with my point, if you agree with my point, we are going to do it, talk about it, discuss about it respectfully. You don't necessarily need to agree with everything I say, but we can educate ourselves and communicate. Let us hold our future in our hands. The future in our hands does not end up in we going to protest to kill ourselves. That's not the best way. I'm not saying we shouldn't protest. I am saying our methodology for protesting is actually wrong. At this junction, we should have done a lot of debates. We should have a lot of discussion. We should have communicated on different levels. We should have made a lot of arrangements before the protests. It shows that we are not organized as people. That's why teenagers are coming to the protest ground. That is why women with little children, we are allowing them on protest ground. If you are a woman and you have a little baby, what will you be doing on protest ground? Are you not thinking of the mental health of the child? Is it your voice that will be so loud that will make Tinubu clothes fly out and then it will just say fuel should come down to 200 naira? You are not even taking care of the next generation. I'm not denying the fact that you might be hungry, but you shouldn't have anything to come do on that protest ground. So we are not organized. And when the government says that we should go and protest in this so place, we can't protest in this so place. One way or the other, I am just telling Nigerians, please go and study the power of a president in Nigeria, what they have the right to do. We need to understand their power. At least before you fight, you should know that this person I want to fight with, oh, he used to break bottle or he used to carry gun whenever he wants to fight. Then you know how you'll be prepared for that person. All they have to do is to create a little bit of confusion so that anything they do will be legal. Am I not saying the truth, Olaweb? You need to understand the way they fight. That's how you inform yourself and you educate yourself, so you don't just bring a knife to a gunfight or you fall into their trap. Because at the end of the day, when we start calling on the union or other people in other countries to come see our situations, if the government is actually right in how they put in their force, the story will just be like the NSAS. And I've told Nigerians, if you want to protest, once the time is 6 o'clock, stop protesting, go back home, come back the next day around 9. But follow through the things that the government have set in place. You don't know the power of the president, so a lot of people are talking about constitutional right and all of that. Your constitutional right is that you can protest, but you cannot infringe on other people's right to move. And if you're not allowing people who are driving to go to their place of work just because you want to protest, this is not strike. We are not talking about striking. We are talking about protest. Freedom Trade says true. So I appeal to you, my Nigerian youth, because at the end of the day, we need to be alive. All the people who are saying activists and the rest of it, who are saying go to the protest ground, how many did we see there? Very Dark Man says they've actually put money in some of them's mouths and he has refused to collect bribe. How many of them do you see there? Don't let people bobo us, lie to us simply because they are speaking big English or because they have too many subscribers. Everything they say, we just think that they are saying the truth without we doing our fact checking. You cannot read a book for me. I will ask you, what kind of book is that? What's the title of the book? And I go and make my research. Because the same thing is applicable to how pastors do. When pastors want to tell you narration, they will say, Bible says that you should bring your offering and tithe. Why? You haven't read the reason why he said it. Maybe why he said it then is different from what we are doing now. And then they collect your tithe and offering. And when did they do it? They did it during that time occasionally. Now in our own place, every Sunday, tithe and offering, tithe and offering, tithe and offering. My brothers and sisters, those of you who have subscribed, please subscribe. Those of you who have, like. Those of you who haven't subscribed, subscribe to my channel. Peace. We are going to see you tomorrow. We are going to continue our discussion. Have a blessed day. See you in my next video. Have a great night. Stay safe. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now. Bye, Olab Web 3. See you tomorrow.